Welcome to Oilers Nation Everyday with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
A team from Utah has never beaten the team from Edmonton when it comes to hockey, which begs the question, what is Utah good at? Let's get into it with the lead. The list I have, Mormonism, polygamy, putting coffee creamer in their sodas. Anyways, all jokes aside, they do have 5 stunning national parks dubbed the Mighty Five, Liam.
Wasn't that one crazy bachelorette from...
She was, because she was from the show Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Now they make dirty sodas.
Yeah.
That's another thing I actually...
Well, that's what I was talking about. They put like cream in their soda. It's the most insane thing ever. All jokes aside, because I do really like the state of Utah, and I really want to go down there for the playoffs, and we have a bunch of people from Utah who watch the show who we both love and appreciate a great deal. The Sundance Music Festival, the Utah Jazz, also...
Which doesn't make sense because they came from New Orleans.
Yeah, that doesn't make a ton of sense. They've had a tech push. Unique geography. I'm honestly just reading things from ChatGPT, so I don't know how true they are.
Probably factual.
Well, they said the Utah Jazz are the state's only major pro team. So that's objectively false.
Makes sense.
That's why AI can never replace our jobs. Why? We have been here for an hour. Why did you wait until the start of the show to eat your granola bar?
Have you ever had... This is a protein bar, and it might be the worst protein bar ever.
You didn't even turn on the lights behind you.
Oh, shit.
We're going to all wait while Liam does it. All right.
All good?
Yeah. Well...
So protein bar. You ever had one?
Yeah.
Typically, it's supposed to be more protein than fat.
Sure.
Not in the case of Kirkland. 11 grams of fat, 10 grams of protein. I'm just hungry and there was nothing else downstairs. But I have a shout out to give.
Sure, you got to bring the mic way closer.
Is that
to
too
your
far
mouth.
away? Sorry, I thought it was good.
Even closer than that.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean.
Well, I had dairy as well. Shout out to Jim. Yesterday I was at the soccer center, of course, big game for Ukraine versus China. Ukraine won, reigned supreme over the Chinese, and they why is that funny? And they won. I think the final score was 5-2. Before I get to Jim, it wasn't a very particularly close game, but at one point it was 3-2 because the goalie went to clear the ball and just absolutely nailed it off this girl's face. Just right into her face. And it went in. She scored. It was a header. She didn't know because she was on the ground with ball imprints all over her face. It was crazy. So anyway, I met Jim yesterday, and I was walking through the crowd at the soccer center. It was a busy night. And to go and see the standings to see where they ended up finishing. And then all of a sudden, this gentleman just yelled, "Liam," as if we had known each other for years.
And how do you?
I didn't know him, but I found out about him. His name's Jim. He's an Italian man. He was watching Italy versus Germany in the semifinals. Said he's been watching our show for years. Said he's retired now, works out in the mornings. By the time he gets home, made his smoothie. He tunes in for our show. He said we've got a lot better over the years. So I saved it for about 4 minutes in, because I'm assuming Jim would have made his smoothie by now and settled in to watch the show. So thanks for watching, Jim.
Sounds good.
He was a beauty.
All right.
Penticton.
You get to work on that power bar while I do a little bit of the show. The show is a presentation, as always, of Bet365 hockey fans. Check out Bet365's 3-goal early payout. When your team goes up 3, you get paid. It's that simple. Download the app today. It must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly. The show, as always, comes to you live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online at sportscloset.ca. And one more while we're on topic. It is a game day edition of the show, and every game day is brought to you by Capital GMC Buick Edmonton. Check out their extensive inventory of top quality vehicles like the 2026 GMC Terrain Denali or the 2026 Sierra Denali Ultimate. Not only do 5 different players from the team drive a vehicle from Capital GMC Buick, I now drive a vehicle from Capital GMC Buick. It's been about 5 days since they've hooked me up with the all-new Nation truck, the the new electric Hummer, and it is a beauty. I am enjoying it very much, and today's the first day I got to go take it to charge it, which is a very exciting milestone in my relationship with my vehicle from Capital GMC Buick. Get your own capitalgmcbuick.ca.
Just outside the pool, right? You'll be hanging out by the pool today.
No, there's one by the grocery store by my house.
Thank goodness.
15% Tuesday today, boys. Do your grocery load ups.
Oh, I have to be here all night. No.
That sucks.
Where is that? Oh, that's at the...
Save on.
Yeah,
well,
no free
actually,
ads.
I have to go to a different grocery store now.
Why, you're banned from Save-On?
No.
Oh.
I won't say what store it was, but I'll say this. If you're in Sherwood Park, it's the big one. Mouse.
You saw a mouse at the grocery
No.
store?
At the grocery store.
I would imagine there's lots of mice in every grocery store.
I know, but like, it's fine to assume that, but once you see it, that's when it becomes real. And I was with my fiance the other day, and
Would it be the one closest to your house?
no,
Okay.
the other big one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So that sucks.
No Jay today. He's in an all-day meeting, as bosses do. Probably deciding our future as a show. But if Jim says we're getting better, we're probably pretty safe.
Jim, probably the best listener I've met in terms of like how it normally was to talk to him. And I don't mean that in like a horrible way to like other people we've listened to. I appreciate everyone who says hello. But like, it was like we were best friends. It was cool. He was a really nice man.
I would love to meet Jim too. I had one, and this is just one that always sticks out of my mind. I genuinely like when people come up and like say they listen to the show and chat. It's like a lot of fun. I was at an Oilers game. This was a while back now. I don't even think it was this year. But this guy's like, Tyler, big fan of Oilers Nation, all this stuff. He's like, I want to buy you a beer. So we're standing in line. That's not uncommon for someone to be like, yeah, I want to buy you a beer. I'm like, sure, they're expensive. I'll take one. We're standing in line. We're chit-chatting. He's talking. And we do have like a parasocial relationship with the people who watch this show, obviously. Chat. And another guy comes up and is like, Tyler, big fan, all this stuff. He's talking, blah, blah. This guy walks away, and the original guy I'm standing with goes, God, it must be weird, hey, when like a random guy like that comes up to you. And I was like, you're also the random guy. And we've been hanging out for like 6 minutes because the beer line's taking forever. Anyways, someone telling me, look, wow, the disrespect.
You were the first listener I ever met, Tyler.
Swallow your food, man.
Can't do it whole.
Just take him off while he's chewing. Josh says, Tyler, I saw you at the Lululemon in the mall. You did not look happy, so you left. Or so I left you.
That'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a great spot for me to be. There's probably some other places I would have rather been, but yeah, some people do get weird,
We're
Bo.
Lulu on the show now.
That's actually damning considering we exclusively wear Lululemon pants.
This is Lulu. These are Lulu. My underpants, Calvin Klein.
Lulu.
Well, Aaron socks. What were
Pants Lulu, underwear Lulu.
Yeah. Socks, too expensive. For like the return you get, the underwear is a good investment because the comfort and durability is like you buy a pack and you know they're going to last you a few years.
I'm also a Sax guy. I do enjoy Sax underwear.
I like the more stretchy material, if you would. Well, this is getting in a weird spot, so let's go. Game Day, brought to you by Capital GMC Buick. I'm sure they're thrilled at how this segment has started. But anyways, it is a... I won't say big one for the Oilers because, I mean, relative to the other games they're going to play down the stretch, it's just as big as the others. Every 2 points right now is really, really important. And if you want to sit here and do the old magic number calculation, Liam, either LA or San Jose could still technically catch the Oilers.
Well, especially if LA is literally getting a point a night. They won in a shootout yesterday.
Yeah, they're a joke, and I hate them so much.
disaster.
Anyways, the max points those teams can get is 83. I do not think, I actually know, neither one of them can catch the Oilers in the tiebreaker race. Cool. That is an important part of this whole calculation. So the Oilers need to get to 93 points in order to officially clinch a playoff spot, which means they need 3 wins, or they need San Jose/LA to lose some points. So a win tonight and a win tomorrow against the San Jose Sharks, because it would subtract 2 from the San Jose Sharks, would actually I think, potentially get close to clinching a playoff spot for the Oilers. Oh, no, because then Nashville could still catch them. But anyways, the earliest the Oilers can clinch, I believe, would be on Thursday or Friday when the Predators would play. If they beat Utah and then if they beat San Jose. Oh, tomorrow's an 8 o'clock start. I told Ryder and Lisa it was an 8:30 start.
I also thought it was an 8:30, but it's 8.
Whoops. Anyways, the Oilers could clinch by the end of this work week, Liam. That's pretty exciting, and that, again, shows that regardless of who the opponent is tonight, regardless of who it is tomorrow, I know it's 2 teams in the playoff race, they are both big games because you need to scrape up these points.
Yeah, and we know on Saturday they're at least getting 1 point. They do play the LA Kings, so no matter what, it's going into overtime. So, yeah, I agree. I think every game at this point there's not really, obviously Vegas game was a bigger one than the others based off divisional race and all that, but at this point you just got to win. You just got to rack up some points. I thought that Curtis Lazar had a good quote yesterday, which Michael Menzies put in the what's he call this, the pre-scout. I'm just trying to find it here quickly. He said, as the league goes on throughout the season, it tightens up. It's harder to score. The details, the physicality, all that, it's mandatory. And I do feel like the team has bought into that idea. I think they swayed away from it a little bit against Vegas, as we discussed yesterday. And again, I don't think Chicago was perfect. Probably got away with the opponent that you played. But I do think the mindset is there for the Oilers right now that it doesn't matter who they're playing. You just got to go out there, play. Honestly, this is sound very simple. It's supposed to be like just play hockey. Get pucks on net, get some block shots. Keep it simple. And the Oilers should be skilled enough, even with guys absent, to beat the majority of teams on a night-to-night basis. Although, I do like this Utah team, and one day they will be a problem.
Yeah, I think over the next 3 years here, if we see like a Minnesota-Dallas maybe take a step back.
Well, hopefully Dallas.
Utah takes a step forward.
Did you hear about the news yesterday in Dallas? Crazy that happened. The season ticket
JFK?
thing.
Oh, no?
Oh, well, that was crazy. Look it up. Type in Dallas Stars season ticket holders.
Oh, this is fun. Dallas.
You can decide if you want to read it on it. I mean, it was quite big news.
Oh, they had to ban a guy. I did see this.
Yeah, I think it was a few guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, 'cause they were doing.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, we don't need to read that.
Yeah, the USA.
USA.
They weren't.
God, I hate that chant so much. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Anywho, Utah, over their last 3 games, playing some pretty good hockey. They've won 3 in a row. They beat the Kings 6-2 last Saturday. They beat the Kraken 6-2 last Thursday. And then this most recent Saturday, they beat the Vancouver Canucks 7-4. So not exactly beating up on Stanley Cup contenders, but still a very good team.
Winning,
40, 30, and 6 on the season. That is an above-average offense. That is a really good goals against per game. Special teams may be an area that the Oilers could exploit in this one. What do you make? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say 5-5's got to be everything for the Oilers right now, hasn't it? Like, the power play is just so ass. It's dropped below 30%.
I mean,
which
that
is wild.
That is crazy.
I believe it was at 32 when Draisaitl his last game.
Yeah. Not ideal.
PK, though, if I'm remembering correctly, has been decent.
Yeah.
Like, that number isn't flattering by any means, but I think it's been... I don't feel ashamed when I see on the ice anymore. I'll be like, God, these guys again.
In their last 10 games, and this is using every team's last 10 games as a clean, smooth sample size, Utah is 3rd in the NHL, averaging 2.6 5-on-5 goals per game.
Nice.
Edmonton is 18th in the NHL, averaging 2 5-on-5 goals per game.
In the last 10?
In their last 10.
Okay.
Preventing 5-on-5 goals, that actually leans a bit towards the Oilers. They're averaging 2 5-on-5 goals against per game.
Yeah.
Utah is averaging 2.3. Expected goals, which again takes out some amount of variance. The expected goals for percentage at 5-on-5 actually does favor the Oilers, 51.9%, which puts them 13th in the NHL. Utah is 17th at 49.7%. So a small gap, but again, the fact that the gap exists on the actual goal side and then it flips the Oilers' way probably does tell you a little bit that despite, and Andrew had a good comment, he said it's crazy how hard that loss to Vegas has flipped the vibes here in Edmonton, which I think is kind of fair. If the Oilers had won 6 in a row, we're maybe a little bit more giddy and fired up for this hockey game. I will say it's not just that game in isolation. I think it's the game before, seeing some of those mistakes creep into their game against Chicago. Like, they beat Chicago, and that was great, 3-1. Not going to, but that was a 2-1 game late. They were giving up breakaways. They were bleeding a lot of good offensive chances against the Blackhawks. I think it's more than just the Vegas game and the 5-1 loss on home ice that's dampering the spirit. I think it's the culmination of the two where it's like, oh, you barely beat Chicago, then you lost to Vegas. Tonight's a night for Edmonton, too, up against a good team in Utah who's playing pretty good as of late to get things back on track.
I think the Chicago game, could you label it in a way of like frustration in the sense of like, how many times they hit the crossbar or the post in the first? It was like 2 or 3 times.
Could have been a 5-1 game.
Nuge hit one. I think Kapanen might have hit one. Someone else might have too. Whatever it was a good opportunity. And then you had goal disallowed. It felt like, and the reason I would label it as a frustration in a way of like, you're not getting rewarded for what you fully deserve, which is the goals. Because Spencer Knight was playing well, which maybe you what would the word be? Like, you push too much for offense, which then just opens you up defensively. And I think that's kind of where things swayed a little bit for them against Chicago. Against Vegas, I thought they played okay in the first period against Vegas, if I'm remembering correctly. And then Vegas got the goals, and you could probably put it in a similar manner of just like, Vegas didn't get what they fully deserved, where you could say the same with Edmonton. So tonight, I would just hope if the Oilers can get a lead, or even if Utah did, I guess either way, just like they can kind of steady the ship and play close to a 60-minute hockey game of just like details.
I want to get to a comment from Brendan, who says, I'm more concerned about injuries than recent results / play. And I think there's an interesting way to view that. I think if we are talking about tonight's game in isolation, then yeah, missing Zach Hyman and Leon Draisaitl is significantly more concerning in terms of their chances of winning this hockey game than their recent play is. If we're going big picture, projecting leading into the playoffs, we know Zach Hyman is coming back, and we're relatively confident that in round one, early in round one, maybe not game one, maybe it's game two, maybe it's game three, early in round one, we're going to see Leon Draisaitl back in this lineup. Big picture-wise, the concern is their ability to string together consecutive games where they aren't making a handful of defensive errors and all of that kind of stuff. Like micro, macro. Micro, injuries, a concern because you want to win tonight, you're missing 2 big players.
Yes.
Big picture, not that worried.
Not really worried either. I'm not even worried by like the conversation around Draisaitl's injury either. Like I know, and there's a reason to be, and if you are worried about it, that's fine. I mean, the conversation is, the first comments were, he's day-to-day, then he's out for the season. The next one was him talking in German, and we all tried to translate what he actually said, where the whole gist of it was that, like, he just said, hopefully they play long enough for me to return, which is vague. But then everyone's like, oh, the translation is just different because they don't have playoffs there. And then the third one was yesterday. I was like, well, he might be back for game one. Maybe. I was like, okay, well, who really knows when he's coming back?
Yeah.
I just know Leon Draisaitl, when he comes back, will be ready to go.
Yeah.
And I don't doubt that.
Again, Edmonton 5-0 all time against the Utah Mammoth. The last time the Oilers lost to this franchise, which isn't technically this franchise because it's a new franchise.
I know.
When?
The last game in Phoenix.
The last game at Mullet Arena. I was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, you were there. Did you go for that?
Yeah, I went to the last game.
We went. That was an awesome rink.
Yeah.
I think that's something everyone should have experienced because you'll never get that again outside of like a preseason game. Yeah. Also, too, we never shouted it out.
Tabor, Alberta.
Home of former Shore Park Crusader Colby Garner.
Sure.
Yeah, and they have a junior B team down there.
Also, they were the host of the, what year would that have been? 2000. I think they were the host of the 2012 Bantam AA Baseball Provincials. Was an electric weekend of my life.
You're just in the corn.
Yeah,
I was going to say, we're bearing the lead here. The corn.
Yeah, but everyone knows about the corn. They don't know about the 2015 Bantam AA Provincials or Colby Garner.
Yeah. Do you think... So, could the Oilers play in that game?
In the Bantam Provincials?
No. Don't they do like
yeah, they're going to do yeah.
So the Oilers could.
The Oilers could play in Tabor, Alberta.
That would be wicked. I bet it'd probably be Calgary.
Calgary, Edmonton, in Tabor.
I bet they wouldn't do Edmonton.
Why not?
They never do that.
Isn't Tabor closer to?
No, it's by Lethbridge.
Yeah, it's south. Yeah, you're right. All right. Well, that's a good little conversation there.
Congrats.
How did we get there? The arena in
The
Arizona.
arena,
Yeah.
yeah.
Connor McDavid on tonight's matchup. Where honestly, guys, heads up, this is not going to be a good show.
Oh,
Or maybe it's been a great show. I don't know.
I've been having a lovely time.
I'm having fun.
Yeah, you've had a snack, a coffee, and you have your leg up.
My space cup today.
Liam, do you still have your
Just to
pliers
prove.
around there?
Oh, yeah.
Liam was walking around the office right before our show, 5 minutes before our show, when he decided to go downstairs and get some milk for his coffee, and he's just been using the pliers to hold his coffee mug.
Like hot coffee, too, right off the pot.
And then as I was walking back upstairs, clearly struggling, I was losing my grip.
You don't say.
Intern Tristan was like, I just have a quick question. He has a graphic for you, Aaron. I forgot to tell you.
I got it.
If you saw it. So it's been a morning. I woke up at 5:30 today to a dog barking in my ear because he had explosive diarrhea.
In the bed?
No, luckily, like, he is very aware of what is happening and was just like, "Arr!" I was like, oh my God. So I like,
Emergency.
He literally sprinted to the back door. And I was like, oh, good for you. So it was good. Then I had an appointment, had some needles in my back. Always not pleasurable.
No. Like
Implausible.
acupuncture?
It's like the electric stuff.
Oh, yeah. I had
yeah.
that done a couple weeks ago.
Yours was worse than mine, I think.
Really?
Well,
Mine's my shoulder.
I think whenever you jam stuff into your spine, it's always a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also too in the moment, my doctor had a resident. I don't know if they're called residents for physio stuff, but typically, you know what I'm talking
Like an
about.
intern, though?
Yeah, who was trying to learn, and she's just describing where the needles need to go, and I'm like, God, that is uncomfortable to hear.
Yeah.
And it was weird.
Honestly, the thing that puts me on edge when my guy does it to me is like you hear him prep the needle. You're like, you don't really feel it all that much. It's just a little poke. But like hearing him prep the needle, like take it on, and then like, knowing it's about to go in, that's what drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah. But I'm tough when he's like, do you want needling done today? I'm like, yep. I'm definitely not dreading this. Definitely haven't been filled with anxiety in the parking lot for 20 minutes. Let's do it.
And also, too, crazy weather today. It was a tough drive out there. I had to go to Riverbend this morning.
These streets ain't.
Whew.
Yep.
Did not expect that.
Y'all think we want a professional show every day from Mogul and Celebrini? Yeah, I mean, I guess you all know what you're coming here for.
Yeah, we want chaos.
Yeah. Connor McDavid on tonight's matchup against Utah. These are I fucked up that quote. Let's try that again. These are teams that need a win, and it should have a playoff-like feel. The variability is so high right now in terms of who we could play. Obviously, it's possible we play them, so I think it'll have that kind of a feel. That kind of a feel being a playoff feel. My concern with all of this is that whenever the Oilers walk into a game that should have a playoff feel, they don't play it like it's a playoff game.
Yeah. Like that Florida game the other week is a standout. And I know Florida obviously
Even Vegas, they
eliminated.
weren't.
They weren't ready, yeah.
Took them until the third period to be like, should we start like playing physical and hitting these guys? It's like, yeah, probably.
The funny part about it is those were home games, and they've just been like weirdly ass at home this season, like very mediocre. We're on the road. I feel like they've been able to find a little bit of rhythm.
They are above 500 at home, under 500 on the road, though.
Really?
Yeah.
What's their record on the road? I must have just flipped recently.
I also, just looking last year. So last year at home, 25-16 straight up, and then 23-18. So they had 2 more home wins than road wins last year. This season, they are 21-18 straight up at home. 18 and 20 on the road.
18, 15, and 5.
Yeah. Versus 21, 14, and 4. So 21 and 18 or 18 and 20. So they've still been better at home, to be fair. But I think your point lines up with what I said, where like they've just been weirdly flat for some games that you look at and go, boy, that's a big hockey game.
Yeah.
And then they're just not dialed in.
A lot of their road games, too, it feels like have been like tough stretches. But like, I'm thinking back to like great win against Colorado on the road. That was significant. Even Utah a couple of weeks ago, that was a big one. Vegas, like their last recent road games have been quite quite good. So they got to get up for it. They literally have no choice. And hopefully what Curtis Lazar says is like the message around the route right now. So let's get moving. And they have been. Again, like someone says, like if they beat Vegas, but they didn't, things would feel a lot better. But I don't feel down on this team. I think this team is exactly who I thought they were.
Remaining games for the 3 teams in contention for the top of the division. Vegas has Colorado, Vancouver, Seattle twice, and Winnipeg. Okay, so let's call it 3 or 4 softer spots, 1 tough game. Anaheim has Minnesota, San Jose, 2 against Nashville, and 1 against the Vancouver Canucks. I will dare to say that is 4 tough spots on the schedule and 1 soft one. Nashville and San Jose are going to play them hard.
Well, they have to. Yeah.
Edmonton goes Colorado tonight, and then San Jose, then LA, and then, Utah tonight, Utah tonight, then San Jose, then LA, then Colorado, then Vancouver. I'll go ahead and say there's only 1 soft spot on the Oilers schedule.
Vancouver?
Yeah.
I would agree.
Are you just reading that off? The fact that, again, Vegas kind of has 4 softies. If we want to be generous, say 3 and say Winnipeg will play them hard. I think we can probably say that.
Winnipeg, big win last night.
Is there maybe weirdly a path to Vegas winning this division and Edmonton and Anaheim being the 2-3 seeds?
Oh, there's definitely. Well, they're only a point behind.
That's what I mean. I feel like we haven't spent a lot of oxygen on.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't a thing a week ago.
And then Vegas won 3 in a row, and Anaheim lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, and the whole division is really flipped, and it's going to make it interesting.
Whoa! How? Because it's cookies and all that. Aaron, why is your computer giving you pop-up ads for Temptations cat treats?
I don't know. AskTankathon.com. I don't even own a cat.
So weird. There's a cat food joke somewhere in there, but regardless.
I still think Anaheim will probably win the division.
Really? You would go Anaheim? Why is this popping up?
Treat me like a dog.
I just think that
Edmonton put you on a leash?
Edmonton are a bit banged up, obviously. I don't think Anaheim's been bad enough. They're in a bad stretch.
Yeah.
But they've been good, pretty consistent most of the year. I can see them kind of flipping it a little bit and getting things going in the right direction.
I read you the schedule. We know the standings. Yeah. Rank them 1, 2, 3 based on how you would do the odds, and then I'll give you what Bet365 has.
Like who I think will win the division?
Go 1, 2, 3.
Anaheim, Edmonton, Vegas.
Sportsbooks say. What do you think sportsbooks say?
Vegas, Edmonton, Anaheim.
Edmonton, Anaheim, Vegas.
Damn it.
Edmonton is now the front runners to win the Pacific on Bet365 at plus 110.
Plus 700 like a month ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of pissed I didn't take that.
I took the points.
Yeah.
Which I had 93.5 or 92.5. So, yeah, I think that's how it'll go. And I think credit to Anaheim for doing it all year.
Wait, Jesus Christ. Hungry kitty.
Hungry kitty. Oh, my God.
I love the chat.
Where were we going?
I was actually trying to look up something else here.
Should I take my Evan Bouchard Norris cash out? It's more than I bet. I feel like
we all have that, right? We all did it at the same time.
I feel like the momentum is all Werenski right now.
I haven't heard a whisper. All I've heard is John Buccigross saying that he's going to make votes on the Olympics, which I don't really understand how you can just publicly say that, but nevertheless.
Yeah, I mean, just objectively saying you're going to make your own rules and not follow the ones you're supposed to follow when you vote on awards. You can just throw that out there.
So, a few minutes ago, you may recall I said I feel like the Oilers have been better on the road than at home.
Yes.
This season. So, obviously the records would change that. Mm-hmm. But there's something interesting here.
Okay.
So, when the Oilers are at home this season, they average 3.49 goals per game, which is 6th, which is better than on the road, which they're also 6th, funnily enough, at 3.39 goals per game. 3.39 goals per game. However, when they're on the road, goals against are where is it here? 3.13 goals against per game, which is the 17th fewest in the NHL, right in the middle of the pack, I guess you could say. Actually, definitely in the middle of the pack. But when they're at home, they average 3.46 goals per game. So they're averaging more goals at home against than on the road against. So maybe there's the optical illusion of Go on. What are you going to tell me? They've played more games or something?
No.
It's only one.
Do you think that maybe getting absolutely steamrolled by Colorado and Dallas on home ice has anything to do with that?
But they got rolled by Dallas on the road, too.
That was 7 goals. The other 2 were 9. That's 18 goals in 2 games. That's insane to like your averages. That basically brings up the whole average by almost half a goal per game.
So they have had 135 goals against at home and 119 goals against on the road. I mean, 2 bad games. But also, too, that kind of buys into the idea of, like, this team was terrible at home most of the season. They got to be better at home, even if the record says so.
That's an interesting tie into the first thing I want to ask Landon Ferraro as well. Okay. Before we get to him, I was trying to Google famous people from Utah before the show when I was, like, saying nice things about Utah.
Okay.
Slim pickings.
Who forgot?
Roseanne Barr. That one's problematic. Wilford Brimley, he's dead, died 6 years ago. Everyone else, like the top 10 on famousbirthdays.com for people born in Salt Lake City, Utah. TikTok star, dancer, activist, Instagram star. Oh, the Osmonds. Okay, this is better.
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah,
I thought
Imagine
they were
Dragons,
from
nuts.
Vegas. Robert Redford.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Steve Young.
He was good.
I mean, everyone else. I mean, yeah, like, sure.
Danny Ainge, yeah.
Okay. Ken Jennings. That's the one.
That is a big one.
Yeah.
There's actually quite a few.
Yeah, this is better than the list I was looking at. Yeah.
Damn.
Ken Jennings, that's legit. That's star power.
Man, Jamie Ding, he's on an absolute run right now on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
He's just under $500,000.
Yeah.
And what did Jennings get up to?
Oh, like 3 million.
Yeah. So like,
but he was on.
Coach.
I think Jennings threw it. I think eventually he was just like, I'm good now.
This is enough money.
Well, if you watch his like last game, he's like doing stupid bets on daily doubles and stuff like that. I recently watched.
He won 74 in a row, $2.5 million.
Damn. Oh, that James Holhauser guy was real good too.
He broke the game.
Yeah.
He was the guy that would pick randomly like 1,200, 1,600, because those are where you get the daily doubles.
So he's like a fucking nerd. Ken Jennings is the GOAT.
They're all nerds.
He did it ethically.
Jeopardy.
He was an ethical winner.
Jamie Ding is going on a generational run right now. So if you're not watching.
We gotta move on again. This show sucked today, and I apologize for that, but we're going to be on the rails for our guest line, which is brought to you by your Prairie Toyota dealers. Looking to dominate off the ice as much as your team does on it? Check out the Toyota Tacoma. Its standard I-Force engine boasts an impressive towing capacity of up to 6,400 pounds. In fact, it's the most powerful Tacoma ever. So whether you're hauling gear to the rink or heading to an away game, you can tackle it with ease. The available panoramic multi-terrain view monitor gives you live underfloor view to navigate even the toughest terrain with ease. Liam would love to have a panoramic multi-terrain view monitor at all times.
He sure would.
Experience power, capability, and convenience with the Toyota Tacoma. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer during Red Tag Days on now through May. As we welcome in former NHLer Landon Ferraro to the show. You a Jeopardy guy?
From time to time, yeah.
You dabble?
I mean,
you dabble.
Am I a fan of Ken hosting, or when he was? No, like that wasn't right. But could that guy go on a run? And you got to respect that.
Yeah.
The other guy, I forget his name that you brought up. The other one that you said that kind of broke it. That guy
James
was a machine to watch.
Yeah.
He was great. Vegas
like Electric doesn't get thrown out often while talking about Jeopardy, but like that's borderline there.
Yeah. You should see Jamie Ding.
Jamie Ding. You would like Jamie Ding. If you're a James fan, you'll like Jamie.
All right. I'll give it a look again. I got to check it out.
I want to start this conversation with a bit of a debate Liam and I were having before the show. And the gist of it was Chris Knobloch kind of said, like, is the team worried about winning the division for the sake of ending that streak? Because the Oilers haven't won the division in my lifetime. It's been 30-some years, however long. Knobloch kind of said, like, nah, we're not too concerned about it in the room. I guess, should they be? The Oilers are a team who last year they won 3 straight series in the playoffs, didn't have home ice advantage for any of them. Like, should the Oilers be concerned down the stretch here with holding on to home ice or winning the division? Or do you think for a team like that who's just going to turn it on come playoff time, like it doesn't matter?
I mean, to say it doesn't matter isn't right, but I don't think they're overly worried about it. Do I think that they are, they're saying that outwardly, but inside they're like, guys, we need to close this up. We've made this year hard enough on ourselves, and just any little bit we can make it that much easier by having home ice, we need to have it. But also, with how the year is gone, they need to have it simply because that means they're playing good hockey going in, right? Like, they don't have months of games where you're like, okay, we have these games we can go back to, and you're like, yeah, we've been on it for a while. Like, they have like 2.5 weeks of games where you're like, okay, they've steadily been putting this together. And so to me, it's not about like the part of, do we need to end it simply because they haven't won one in forever? I mean, half the guys weren't even born yet when that started, right? Like, they don't, not that they don't care, they don't know until someone tells them, right? Like, when I was with Boston, we won a game in Montreal. I forget the number, but Boston hadn't won in Montreal in like 11 visits. I had no idea. Like, it played no part in my mind. I wasn't part of any of that. So for them, I think it's more just focusing on getting the division because that's the carrot at the end. But it's because you need to be playing well and feeling good about yourself going in after a year of not a lot of good feeling.
I think it's interesting too, in the sense of like, Knobloch would say something like that, like it's not really something we think about. But then every single player comes out after the game being like, this place in the playoffs is bonkers. So like, if you ever got to a game 7 in any round, why would you not want it to be on your ice? And you dictate all of that. And that's the side of it I'm kind of looking at from like the fan perspective of just like, well, I want to see like, and I know it's only a divisional banner, but like, I want to see something else up there. That's not just like Gretzky stuff. I want like more of like my era of things. And I do wish that like Knobloch would have just come out and saw it from like that side of things a little bit too, rather than just like pushing off being like, it doesn't really matter.
I totally get that. And I mean, that's another topic that would bring us down a completely different path, but of how we all want players and coaches to speak their mind more and be more honest with what they're thinking. But then they do, and say they lay an egg for the next 3 games. Now he's got to be talking about them failing their task of winning the division on top of trying to get the guys back moving towards their goal of, playing well in the playoffs. Like, it just adds too much. That's where I was saying, like, outwardly to us, they won't say that, but inside, I almost guarantee that he said, guys, like, this is something that, to be truthful, like, we don't really deserve to be at the top of this division or even close to it with how we've played this year. But we've been given this massive opportunity. Like, we're completely out of our minds not to try and take advantage of that.
I also wonder
imagine he said that out loud, what you guys would be talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, all of us.
Yeah, that's fair. I also think part of it, like a veteran team who's, we'll say struggled to stay healthy down the stretch here a little bit. There's been some pretty key injuries. I also wonder, like the regular season is going to end for the Oil next Thursday against Vancouver, and at least we are under the impression they're going to be playing that Sunday, which means you have Friday off. If you have to go on the road, that now means Saturday is a travel day, and Saturday night you're sleeping in a hotel. Like, I wonder for a team who's got guys battling through bumps and bruises, like Zach Hyman. Knobloch says if it's a playoff game, he's playing, but he's just not quite there right now. Having Saturday be a day where you're just skating at Rogers Place and then going back to your own house and sleep in your own bed, I think for a veteran team, as this Oilers team has put more miles on over the last couple of playoff runs here, I think having home ice maybe is more important this year, even if it wasn't that much of a factor last year or the year before that.
I mean, it definitely can be. I mean, another side or another way to look at it is you have a wife and kids and schedules and everything going on at home, and you get on the road for playoffs, and like, you don't even need to leave the hotel. Like, my series when I was with Detroit playing Tampa, like, you get to the hotel, you have another, like, you have your room, you have your meal room, you have a games room set up, you have a trainer's room that you can go hang out in as well. Like, everything's right there for you. There is no distractions at all. And when you get to that time of year, that is kind of nice. As much as, of course, you want to be at home and around everyone, like it is a selfish time of the year, and it is a time where, when there's a decision to make one way or the other, you're making sure that you're ready for the next game and ready for the next day. Like it's a grind. It's hard. That's why it's so impressive. They've been there for a couple years in a row now. But looking at this year, again, to me, it's, it goes back to a different conversation having earlier in the year of them needing to figure out their play so that when they got to this time of the year, they could sit guys out and make sure that they're ready and not have to, be trying to win a division while Draisaitl's out. Okay, Hyman's going to sit out, but we could really use him. Like, this is where all that work earlier in the season that could have been done that wasn't is hurting them right now.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to close out on the division. How do you think it's going to play out? Like, how do you think these top three are going to finish? I'm assuming it's going to be Anaheim, Edmonton, Vegas for the top three.
Yeah.
I would assume so as well. To me, I mean, everything kind of seems like it's going to stick where it is a little bit. I mean, obviously that second wild card spot's a bit different, but I don't know. I kind of see it landing right where it is right now, up like with the top three. Like I really do think the Oilers are going to figure it out. They had one bad game after a number of good ones. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll hold out up top. To me, like if we're going back to the last game, like they either play really well and they're dialed in defensively and, they get, I think it was the first goal. Yeah, I think so. It was poked past Wallman that makes the stand at the blue line, which honestly, for the way that he plays and whatever, he's going to make that. And you want him to most of the time because he makes those reads and it holds a lot and that is going to benefit. You're going to get burned once in a while. But after that, like how hard it was for him to get back and get a stick into the lane for that rebound that comes off, right? Like the urgency there. Nurse had one later on a back check, right? Like it's the urgency that just seems to drop off that little bit, and that's where they get into trouble all over their own end. And when they're on top of it, that stuff vanishes really quickly. And that's the frustrating part of, like, you have a pretty good idea that that's the team that's going to show up. But if it doesn't, what does that mean? Like, it's such a big drop-off.
We talked about that attention to detail yesterday and, like, again, how the Oilers play when they're at their best. Each one of Vegas's first 3 goals, the puck was in Vegas's end within 7 seconds of it winding up in the back of the Oilers' net. Like, Edmonton traditionally is not a team that gives up that much off the rush, which is maybe why. And again, the loss to Vegas and the defensive miscues against Chicago, even though they won, kind of put a damper on how well this team's played. They've still won 5 of their last 6 games, but I do think like 2 bad games shouldn't fully erase the 2+ weeks, because even that game against Tampa they lost. You've been a big proponent of, like, they played well in that game even though they lost 5-2. Like, 2 bad games probably shouldn't totally wipe out the 2+ weeks of really good hockey we saw from this club.
Honestly, like on a lot of, if we're talking about a lot of other teams in the league, I'd go against you on that. But here, like it sounds so bad, but like it doesn't even matter because like they'll turn it on and just like, okay, go back to the last couple playoff runs and even just the finals. When they won, they were really good. They were on top, like they were suffocating. And then the games they lost, it's like they're like, okay, we're going to give this one up and we're not going to really try tonight. And like it's an absolute fire sale. So when you have it that way, like you know pretty quick whether they're going to be in the game and win it or not, right? When they come out in the first couple of shifts, you're like, all right, like this is going to be a bit of a mess tonight and we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see if McDavid just kind of does his thing. And then there's other games where the first couple of shifts go by and you're like, I don't know if we're going to win 1-0 or 7-1, but they're going to win tonight. Like it's just so obvious from the way that they carry themselves, the way that they collapse into their D zone, collapse in front of their net when whistles go, even just every little thing, they're together.
The Oilers' power play has been bad since Leon Draisaitl left. What was that, against Nashville about 10 games ago?
Surprising, eh?
Yeah, really weird stuff.
Who'da thunk?
What have you seen, and how can the Oilers change?
I mean, again, like I tend to agree with what Knobloch was saying today. Of like last game, they had a decent amount of looks. Like they didn't get it in. It's just about simplifying. Like I'm literally just stealing his words right now, but I do agree with it when you're not going to try and completely change it. Like if they know Draisaitl's coming back and it's not going to be an issue, then you're not going to work and figure out how to completely change your power play and work all these different guys in when you know it's just going to flip back. Like, of course, you're working through things and trying to find ways to score and all that, but you've played one way on a power play for so long, and in a lot of ways, like I would almost say that Draisaitl's the more important part, which is so dumb because all the plays happen in front that McDavid does, and he's generally the one ripping that pass through. But at the same time, like Draisaitl sets up a lot with his size, with his vision, the way that somehow he still can just get lost in different ways that no one else can. Like he is the finisher of that group. And without him, right, like you're watching Matty Savoie take a one-timer through the slot or through the seam. That's not in his game yet. Not that it's ever going to get to Draisaitl's one-timer, but like his one-timer will get better, but he's not ready to take that with his body facing the net, puck coming from the side. Like he doesn't have the strength. Like he needs to still build his core more. Draisaitl can hold that.
Yeah, I even think like Draisaitl being the piece that like if the other team's paying too much attention to him, that's where other things open up for McDavid to facilitate. And, you know, sometimes he shoots it himself. Sometimes that opens up Bouchard more at the top of the zone. If they're not paying any attention to Leon Draisaitl, then he's the one who kills you. But not having him there, I think just allows, it takes away one of those pieces from the power play and allows the other team to focus more on McDavid, to focus more on Bouchard, and you just don't have that lingering threat there. But I think it's a good point what you said about, like, if they know he's coming back, you don't need to spend a ton of energy here trying to fix this. If you think you might have to go halfway through the first round without Leon Draisaitl, then yeah, maybe there is some urgency to try figure out a new, different system that works, right?
1,000%. And honestly, for right now, like I would just encourage Bouchard to take as many one-timers as possible, right? Like, I mean, as bad as this is, but like, especially you just played Vegas. I don't know, hit a couple with one-timers. Right? Like, no, but actually, like, you don't know where it's going to shake out, and there's nothing. You're not aiming at the guy, but if you want to get in the lane and block it, that's your decision. I'm trying to score, right? Let him bomb away. Maybe he gets a couple more of those in, and out of it, he builds some more confidence that's already pretty high right now after a beautiful goal the other night. But, like, encourage that. If he hits some shin pads, some feet, whatever, like, make the guys decide if they want to get back in there.
Yeah, that's a good point. One more for you. And again, this is a bit of a look ahead to the playoffs, but Knobloch once again today kind of heaped praise on Matt Savoie. He's been excellent. I saw a really good breakdown of him on that Bouchard goal and the way he kind of like jumped around the Golden Knight in the offensive zone to keep that puck in. He's been great. Podkolzin's looked good next to 97. Do you keep him there come playoff time, or do you think that Chris Knobloch's just going to go back to old reliable Nuge and Hyman with McDavid once the playoffs start?
I mean, he might keep it there just to take a look for a few shifts, a period of what Draisaitl's line would look like after that. I think they still go back, but I don't think they go back to Nuge and Hyman and Dreyer and McDavid. Like, I really do think they'll keep Savoie up there. I think they'll keep Nugent Hopkins down. I think Hyman will go back up, and you'll keep that Hyman, Savoie, and McDavid, and then Podkolzin goes back with Draisaitl and probably Kapanen. Like, you know, like bring it back to what it was just before a bunch of guys got hurt, because even with how well the Oilers have played in the last bit here, like I still think those I think it was 2 games before everyone got hurt after the deadline and everyone kind of got in and got settled. Like those were the best 2 games the Oilers have played this year. The most complete forward group. Each line had something that they were bringing. Like I want to see that get brought back and see if it can capture the same type of play and the type of style that they have, because if they can bring that into playoffs, like I do really think that's a far deeper and scarier team to go against than last year's.
Yeah. You a golf guy, Masters guy, big week, anything like that? You gonna like bet on someone to win?
Yeah, you throw a couple out there once in a while. I haven't looked at the full odds yet, but no, the Masters is the best. Like there's no, I'll sit there and watch hockey over everything every time. I'm taking the Masters, especially the weekend, over just about everything. So sit there and watch that. You've watched a couple different, the documentaries again. You got to get fired up going into Masters week.
I've been doing nothing but listening to like golf analytics podcasts for the last like 72 hours of my life. My head is full of info. I'm going to win so much money this year, but that's beside the point. Landon, appreciate you.
You guys handle numbers better though. You were listing off all the goals against averages before you brought me on, and that was enough for me already.
I was getting confused reading them, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, we really are just kind of faking it. But anyways, Landon, appreciate your time as always, and we'll chat again next week.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
There you go.
See ya.
Landon Ferraro, Sports 1440 and Sportsnet, and the former NHLer, of course. In about 8 minutes, we're going to be joined by our friend Cole Bagley from out in Utah, but we got a couple of things that we need to get to before then, Liam, including our Bet365 Game Day Betting Challenge. Hockey fans, are you tired of waiting for the game to end to get paid? Are you ready to move on to the next puck drop? That's why Bet365, an official partner of the NHL, they have the 3-goal early payout. If the team you're riding with goes up 3 goals at any point in the game, they'll pay your bet out early. Hockey moves fast, and now with 3-goal early payout, there's one less thing you have to wait around for. Bet365, download the app, see what early payout's all about. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. Responsibly, Liam.
Always.
Bet365 has an array of tools to help you with that as well. Speaking of responsibly, you are sitting first place in the contest.
Yes, I am. What a turnaround. 15-34-0. I am 1.05 units up on the season.
I am taking a swing today. That'll get me real close to being positive, and I forget what Jay bet, but we will give that all to you in a second as well. This one's easy for me. Podkolzin and Savoie, McDavid's running mates. 3+ shots for Podkolzin. Liam, he's done this in 3 of his last 4 games. Nice. 3+ shots for Matt Savoie. Liam, he's done this in 3 straight and 4 of 5. If you would have done this exact same bet for the last, I think, 2 games, it would have cashed. The fact it's plus 700 is quite honestly stunning for me. So, Podkolzin, Savoie, giddy up. Plus 700 should bring me right back close to even money.
We are similar today.
Okay.
I also did a shot prop parlay. I did Savoie, Bouchard, McDavid, all to get 3+ for $4.90.
All right.
But the Savoie one, he must be 1.5 tonight. His line must be 1.5.
He's 2.5.
What is it?
It's plus 125 to go over 2.5.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. The odds actually on mine are now plus 750, but I locked in when I locked in.
No takebacks.
No.
What's Jay got? Everything? Jay.
Money line. McDavid 3 shots, which McDavid has hit this in 4 straight games. Bouchard 3 shots. He's only hit this in 2 of his last 5. And he has Jason Dickinson to score a goal.
Jason Dickinson.
I mean, maybe Dickinson's due.
Does he have one with the Oilers yet?
Yeah, I think he's got 2.
Does he? I think, who did he get them against?
Maybe just 1.
I watched Jason Dickinson play hockey the other day when we went to the Chicago game.
Yep.
Not an offensive threat, I would label Jason Dickinson.
Not overly, no.
No, so...
If the wheel picks Dickinson responsibly,
I'm
I'm throwing down.
Yeah, I'm worried.
Just 1 goal in 15 games for Dickinson since joining the Oilers. Fine. Just 19 shots as well. So.
Offensive freak, though.
Yeah. Hey, he's been worth the cost, I'd say.
How about that stuff going on in Toronto right now, speaking of freaks? They hired an agency, or maybe just one particular agent, to get their next GM. But this guy is just the agent of what's his name, the former
Sonny Meta.
Yeah, who is already linked.
Yeah, he's the
This is-
Bet365 front runner to be the next GM of the Leafs.
Yeah, who, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Sonny. He's clearly done an amazing job with the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
And probably deserves an opportunity like this, but this Neil Glasberg is just an agent.
Yeah.
And this seems really stupid. Do you know Nashville tried to do it, and the league told them no.
Nashville did it, and then the league went to them and said,
Yeah.
And they had to come out and be like, we fired the firm, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And also,
Finding agency.
like, why do you need this? Like, how? Like, I just don't understand.
How little trust do you have in your own process and people?
100%. Like, even when the Nashville one came out, I was very confused by the idea of it. Surely there's people within the organization, I would assume. Who's the president, the POHO in Toronto? Do they have one? There's got to be someone.
Keith Pelly oversees it.
Okay. Surely he can figure it out. I mean, he's clearly not figured it out for so long. But it's just like, don't understand how you can be in the NHL and not be able to hire a general manager who, there's great options. This Sonny seems like a really good one. There's obviously other ones too. Like even if you wanted to go the veteran way and be like, hey, like, any interest, Doug Armstrong? Like, he's available, right? Like, I just don't understand how they can do this.
Do you guys see who's plus 4,000?
Pronger.
Jay Rosehill. Bottom right there under Tom Fitzgerald.
Well, you got to respect it.
Where is he?
Bottom
plus
right,
4,000
Rosie.
after Spezza.
Oh,
I'm texting him right now to say, is there any insider trading we can pull here? Is there?
Jeez, Mike Gillis.
Can I give you the answer? I know what the Leafs are doing. I've already figured it out.
Go ahead.
They're hiring Gillis and Meta. And Gillis is going to be the POHO who can do the hockey guy thing and sit at the press conferences and whatever. It'll be similar to when they had the Shannon plan, right? They'll have Gillis to be the hockey guy. Meta will make kind of the more analytical behind-the-scenes decisions. But Merrick made a great point today on DFO Live. Keith Pelly coming out and he dropped that line where he's like, our next GM is going to be a data-driven person.
Yeah.
That was like the test balloon of like, how's the market going to react to this idea? And the market reacted well, so now the Leafs kind of go, all right, we can hire Sonny Meta.
Yeah. That's silly.
Why?
Like, because he's just good. He's just clearly good at his job anyway.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't matter. Like, I understand why. Is his name Steve Pelly?
It's Keith Pelly.
Keith Pelly. I get why he would do that. But, like, you're the Toronto Maple Leafs. You are the biggest market
in the league.
Just do it. Like, you've already done every GM anyway, and eventually everyone just hates him. So, I don't know. This Mike Gillis thing, too, is interesting. I just went and looked, because obviously he was the Vancouver GM when they went to the Cup final, 2010-11 now, right?
Yeah.
Obviously did a good job, got them to a Cup final. He was in Geneva, but hasn't been part of an organization since 2018. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That seems wild. It's like when, I don't know, maybe I'm not saying he's bad at his job. It just seems interesting that they would go for someone who is disconnected, I guess. Like, he's been out of the league for over 10 years. I just find it interesting what the avenues are going down. Maybe it's Rosie, though. I did see Paul Bissonnette on that list as well.
Dead last. Part of it is like,
Oh,
throwing him in
totally.
there for the...
Yeah, of course. What did he say? Nothing yet.
No response yet. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Tom Fitzgerald obviously fired yesterday too, or was that the day before in New Jersey? I know Colby Cohen put out there that he could be a front runner in Nashville. I didn't know he played there.
Yeah, he was their inaugural captain.
Good for him.
Aaron, do we have our season-long futures bets?
Yeah,
I'm
let me pull
so
it up.
close.
Well, that's where this is going to get real interesting because we know Eli and Aaron are pretty much safe from having to do the milk mile. Dylan Guenther, 4 goals in his last 4 games, scored in back-to-back games, Liam. He needs 2 more goals to get to 40 on the year. If he gets that goal,
I avoid it.
you push me to last place.
God.
So
This would be
Aaron nailed McDavid 40. Did you nail Brady Tkachuk?
No, he's at like 58 or 50 something. Tage Thompson is currently at 38 goals. So I
Damn.
need 2 more.
which
So,
you should
Eli's
get.
good because obviously he got the Caulfield one.
Caulfield nailed
Hudson
and
nailed.
Hudson nailed.
and Hudson. So yeah, he's good because that's +6. He's +4 units, so he's good.
I think
Aaron-
Dylan Holloway's at like 18 or 19 goals. So I mean, if the Blues stay hot, who
that
knows?
they are freaking red hot. Nice one. So Aaron, let's assume Aaron gets his Tage Thompson, Aaron's gonna finish like +0.2 units. So that should be good. I nailed Anaheim, and like that's it. Unless Ivan Demidov's gonna go absolutely nuclear and get 10 points in 5 games, which he won't. I'm well aware of that. And you're 2 Dylan Guenther goals away from clinching it, and then I'm doing the milk mile.
What I would do.
Are we
I
gonna
don't
make the
know.
milk mile a part of the mega stream?
I mean, we could. How long is a mile? 1.6 kilometers.
4 laps of the track.
Yeah, 2.4 kilometers.
Do we have a
roughly.
track around here? Or are we just
2.2
going to
kilometers.
like run around the block 4 times?
We could probably just map it out around here.
Yeah, like we could pre-produce this. We could like pre-do it
And
and then
then
just
air.
play it on the Mega
Oh
Stream.
yeah, that's fair.
Although it would be pretty funny if there was like a side cam of me running around the track by my house while you're doing the show.
See,
By
it's-
your
we couldn't-
house?
we couldn't do
We
it in
could-
the River Valley because the service here is so
yeah,
bad.
seriously, so
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
So we'd have to find a good spot. But
Yeah. Yeah, we could figure something. I mean, don't know it's you yet. Could be me.
yeah, you never know.
How
Dylan
many
Guenther.
goals does Dylan Guenther
Well,
have against the Oilers? I
you
feel like
know-
I've never seen him score against them.
You know why I'm torn on all this?
Why is that?
Because I bet this with you, Guenther 40 goals, and I like the amount I wagered on it. Not substantial. I'm obviously not winning like thousands, but I'm winning hundreds. So it's like, would I pay a handful of hundreds of dollars to do the milk mile? Like, yeah, probably. I kind of want that money in my account.
He has 1 goal in 9 games against the Oilers, and he's -8.
Okay.
I feel like he might have got a goal this season, to be honest. Maybe at home, at the Oilers' home. We'll see. I need him to get 70 points too for another side one. Jack Eichel really screwed me. He was on pace for like 115 points at one
He
point.
screwed me too.
Now he's on like 88 points.
And he stopped scoring. Like, it was
Yeah.
annoying. I thought I had him at 30 and 40 goals this year. He's at 25 right now. Like, he needs a hat trick, and he's not going to get it because he doesn't shoot the puck enough. But
Well, I already hit my Celebrini bet. I should have done that one. I hit that like Christmas.
Bedard's injury is going to screw me. I bet Bedard 80 points this year. He's at 72. He could still get there.
What could have been?
All right. Should we get to our next guest?
Let's do it.
Cole Bagley is a presentation of GMC. Truck Month is on now at GMC, and if you want something reliable, tough, and ready for whatever the schedule throws at you, that's the 2026 Sierra 1500 Pro Graphite Crew Cab in a nutshell. And it can be yours for 0% financing for 72 months, which is how many years?
6.
6. With a factory 2-inch lift, off-road suspension, and a 5.3-liter V8 engine, this is one ready for anything truck. Don't miss out. Get to your local GMC dealer and take advantage of Truck Month before it ends. Cole Bagley covers the Utah Mammoth and joins us now for a little game preview. That is a sharp-looking lid, Cole.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. It's a Sway hat, which is a local brand here in Utah, and it's part of our podcast here, the Utah Hockey Podcast. So I appreciate that.
Cover the Utah Mammoth for KSL Sports. You can also find the Utah Hockey Podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. And it's been a really, really solid year. I want to talk about something before we get into the Utah side of it, though. You had a tweet the other day promoting one of the pods where you're like, hey, I explain why the Oilers are the worst case scenario for Utah come playoff time. Why do you believe that?
Well, I think anytime that you have yet to beat a team in your existence over the last 2 years and there's a plus 16 goal differential in favor of the Oilers, I don't know that that's a team that you want to face in the first round. Utah has just been unable to contain Connor McDavid. And to be fair, a lot of teams have not really figured out how to contain Connor McDavid. But I just think, for a squad like Utah, to get the excitement of the playoffs in Salt Lake City, is the Oilers the team that you want to introduce the fan base to the playoffs going up against? Probably not, especially with their track record. It's just been a difficult matchup for them. And I talked to some of the guys today. I talked to Dylan Guenther and Nick DeSimone, and they feel confident. And their mindset is, look, we just want to get in, and however it ends up going, we'll face whatever's in front of us. But I just think when you break it down and you look at the other possible teams that they could play, the Anaheim Ducks, the Vegas Golden Knights, and to be honest, I would actually prefer the Colorado Avalanche over the Edmonton Oilers. I know that that's a juggernaut of a team that looks really good, but I just think there's more to benefit, in facing all those other teams as opposed to going up against the likes of McDavid and the Oilers.
How have obviously Utah in an incredibly difficult division this season? How have they done against those top teams? Have they matched up like fairly well? Has it been competitive? I don't want it to sound like Utah's like shouldn't be winning hockey games, but the Oilers got spanked 9-1 to Colorado, and every time they played Dallas, they got absolutely thumped. So how have Utah done?
Against like the top of the Central Division?
Yeah.
They've fared okay. They've beaten all three of those teams. They beat Colorado once this year. I think they're 1-3 against them. Dallas they beat one time recently as well. Actually played them pretty good. And then Minnesota they did beat, I think, right after the Olympic break. But then they went to Minnesota and Minnesota had gotten their revenge. Although they have had Minnesota's number for the most part. The victory by the Wild just a few weeks ago, I think, was their first against Utah in the Mammoth's existence. So it's an unbelievable division. In my opinion, it's the best in the National Hockey League, especially considering the top three teams. Coming into the year, Utah knew what they were that they were going to face. Right, there was no chance of getting a division spot. It was always going to be a wild card. So, I'd say that they're a team that nobody really wants to face. They can take you by surprise. I think they're going to push whoever they end up facing in that first round. But yeah, I mean, it's the toughest division in hockey, and it just so happens that Utah's in the mix with those guys. But as far as head-to-head matchups, they've been okay. They haven't been great. But again, this is a young, hungry team looking to prove themselves.
We talk a lot about what's like Edmonton's superpower, what makes them difficult to beat, and you touched on it, but it's like, hey, even when you're on the road and you don't have last change, you can go Connor then Leon, and kind of win the matchup battle. The power play is a superpower for the Oilers. If Utah is going to go on a run, what would be their superpower? What would be the one thing in their game that really shines through in a playoff series that allows them to pull off an upset or two upsets or whatever it is?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. First and foremost, I think it would be them playing their game, finding consistency. That's been kind of a theme this year that they didn't really have last season. There was a lot of ups and downs. Not that there hasn't been ups and downs this year, but as of late, they're playing with playoff confidence, as John Marino kind of put it the other night. They're playing with resilience. They're overcoming adversity. They're weathering the storms. And what that looks like is, Utah is a really good team off the rush with so much speed up front with, the Guenthers and the Coolies and the Kellers and the Schmaltz. They play with a lot of speed. But when that rush is thriving is when they're able to generate turnovers. And then when they're able to then enter the zone, get pucks in deep, retrieve those pucks, win the battles, and then allow their speed and finesse to break teams down. That's how they've been able to score so many goals over the last 3 games. I think it's 19-8 over their last 3. So I'd say as long as they're playing their game and they're not allowing themselves to show, kind of their youthful side, right? As long as they don't get too caught up in the moment, they're gonna push some teams. And then I think the other thing as well is continuing to get contributions up and down the roster. Clayton Keller's leading this team this season. Guenther's knocking on the door of 40 goals. Logan Cooley, it looks like he's kind of rediscovered his game after coming back from injury. Schmaltz is having a career season. Lawson Krause is back. After a really poor year a season ago, he's bounced back and been one of the best and most consistent guys on this roster. So I would say those two things. As long as they can play their game consistently every single night, and as long as they continue to get contributions up and down the roster, I'm not saying that they'd win in the first round, but I think, depending on the matchup, if they could get the Ducks or the Knights, it wouldn't surprise me if they won the first round. And then if they do end up drawing Edmonton, or if somehow they ended up drawing Colorado, I think they could push those teams and tire them out.
Obviously, Utah made a big splash towards the deadline, bringing in Mackenzie Weegar. How has he fit into the team? And also, is he going to play tonight? I believe he missed the last game, right?
Yeah, so Torney said that they'll have some game time decisions tonight. Weegar didn't skate yesterday, but he did skate this morning. It was optional, so we'll see. He looked pretty good out there. It didn't seem like there was any sort of nagging injury holding him back. But again, game time decisions, so we'll see if he goes tonight against Edmonton. In terms of the fit, I think Weegar has been around long enough, that he's just kind of seamlessly fit right into the scheme. He's played well alongside Mikhail Sergachev on the top pairing. But I think for him, there is still a little bit of some differences, right? Like he came from Calgary, he's coming to Utah. Those two teams play incredibly different. They're in very different situations, right? I mean, Calgary's trying to figure out what the next step is, how they move forward, whereas Utah's ready to emerge from a rebuild. So, no, it's definitely been a positive. I think when Utah is at their best is when Weegar is playing well alongside Mikhail Sergachev, and it's a good pairing. Dursey was filling in on that top line with Sergachev before they picked up Weegar, and it just didn't work out as well. I think it was, Dursey really likes to pinch. He's a guy that likes to step up a lot, and Sergachev wasn't necessarily providing enough coverage, and the forwards, there just wasn't a lot of connection. Whereas, Weegar's a guy, he's a very true defensive defenseman. He's very calculated when he steps up, when he pinches, and that's worked a lot better alongside Sergachev.
You mentioned Andre Tournier there, and obviously more coaching and GM news over the last couple weeks in the NHL. But Pete DeBoer goes to the Islanders. Elliot Friedman kind of had a report that, and I'm paraphrasing here, but maybe Utah didn't talk to DeBoer, but they were eyeing him up from across the bar, like, ooh, that guy over there looks pretty good. What's that say about the job security that Andre Tournier has going into this summer? Do you think that just making the playoffs here is enough, or do they need to have some amount of playoff success for him to keep his job in the next season?
That's a good question. There was definitely a point in the season where that seat got really hot. They had lost. They'd gone through some losing streaks. The playoffs seemed like a pipe dream. Things just weren't working. The adjustments weren't proper. The power play was abysmal. Not that the power play is really picked up a lot, but that seat got a little bit hot, and it doesn't surprise me whatsoever that Utah started to look for other options. I mean, you have to, right? Like Utah. The pressure's turning up. It's no longer the early stages of a rebuild where, hey, you know what? Wins don't matter right now, but culture does and developing young talent. Well, he's done that. He's gone through those stages. So at this point, it's about winning games. It's about taking that next step, getting into the playoffs. In terms of his job security, it's tough to say, right? I mean, he's done what they've asked him to do. They've continuously taken a jump in terms of points. They've improved year over year. I think 7 to 10 points every season. He's helped develop, the really young guys, the Coolies and the Guenthers, and he's also helped guys like Schmaltz and Keller, discover the next level of their game as well. So it's tough to say. Part of me wants to think that, hey, you know what? If they get into the playoffs, he's probably secure. But I think there is going to be a little bit of a factor of how do they do in the playoffs. Do they make the first round and get swept, or do they make some noise? If they draw Edmonton, do they force them to 6 games, or is it a sweep? Or if they draw Anaheim or Vegas, can they win the series? Can they go to 6? Can they go to 7 games? So I think that will definitely factor in what they do. But Tourney's done a good job so far. He's weathered the storm, and he's produced the results that they've asked him to.
Last one from me. I just wanted to ask you about Guenther. Obviously, he's getting closer to 40 goals for the first time in his career. I think for anyone who knows anything about Dylan Guenther, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise that he's finally getting to this point in his career. But what has allowed him to have success this season to hit this milestone?
Yeah, it's diversifying his game. It's finding ways to score differently than he did last year. I mean, last year he kind of took the league by surprise. He started to get more minutes. He started to play on the power play, and he really made that left face-off circle his office, right? He was just firing one-timers left and right that were finding the back of the net, but teams started to figure that out. He started to make the scouting report. They started to go, hey, we got to watch out for number 11 here. And so for Guenther, he recognized that going into the offseason. And when he came into media day at the beginning of the year, he sat down with all of us and he said, look, I know that I have a good shot, but I want to be more than that. I don't want to just be this one-trick pony that tees up, from the left side, and teams start to understand that and see that, and I become predictable. I want to go to the net more. I want to score greasy goals. I want to battle in the trenches and fight in the dirty areas. That's exactly what he's done, and that's allowed him to still shoot, take his shots from that left side, because teams have to respect him from everywhere on the ice. And so for Guenther, it's very exciting. The fact that he's knocking on the door of 40 goals and he's only 22 years old. I think he turns 23 here in the next week or so. In my opinion, he's just barely scratched the surface of his potential. And I think when it's all said and done, when we look back, Guenther will probably be the all-time leading goal scorer for the Utah Mammoth.
The pigeon outside our window is feeding its
I
baby
wondered
right
what
now,
you were
and I'm
looking
so
at.
distracted. I'm trying so hard to stay dialed in, but these fucking pigeons. We have a pigeon problem at the Nation offices, and it just drives me nuts. But that was great insight on Dylan Guenther, the Utah Mammoth goal. Enjoy the game tonight, and shit, we might be coming. Make room on your couch for us. We might be coming down to Utah in a few weeks.
Yeah, well, if I come up to Edmonton, you gotta show me around. I mean, I'll be there for like 5 days. You gotta show me what there is to do in the city of Edmonton.
You can sleep on the couch in our studio. That is our peace offering to you. You can save money on the hotel.
I'll watch some pigeons. Can I come see those pigeons, I guess?
Yeah, there's like 6 of them. Okay, it's ridiculous. Anyways, all right. Enjoy the game tonight, Cole. Thanks for giving us some
All
time.
right, thanks, boys. We'll see you.
So, yeah.
At first, I thought they were fighting. But they're definitely not fighting because they're doing the thing where their mouths go together like this, and and you can see there's an exchange of something.
Regurgitating.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
lovely.
We've
'Cause
also
I-
seen them do other physical acts.
Yeah, well, and that's what hand
Yeah.
up. I wasn't sure what the relationship was between these two exact pigeons. I thought they were about to start having sex.
Well, I wondered what you were looking at. I thought the camera had frozen, to be honest.
No, I was like, hey, Guenther, left shot or left circle, dominates that side. He's evolving his game. That was all great from Cole, and that info was going in my ear, and I was listening. But just the whole time, those pigeons were so distracting.
Yeah, he's a good player, Dylan Guenther.
And Cole Bagley was a great guest.
Yeah, really was. Those Oil King teams, they had some good players.
They did. They did have some good players. All right, Liam. Tonight, let's take first off, some lineup notes for the Oilers, because we haven't talked about these actually yet today. Got distracted with other things. Tristan Jarry's getting the start tonight for the Oilers. Last 2 games for Jarry. 1 goal on 18 shots against Chicago. Stopped a couple of breakaways. That was great. Utah, 16 of 18. So he has beaten Utah recently. He's coming off a really good game against Chicago. Do you like this decision to go with Jarry over Ingram in the first half of the back-to-backs?
Yeah, I do. This is what I would have done
Yeah?
as well. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, you've had a few good games from Jarry. Tomorrow's a divisional game. I would go with this one. Also, too, like if you end up playing Utah in the first round, don't show them all your cards.
Yeah, sure.
Hold a few cards close to your chest. And Dach returns as well. It looks like Samanski will be out.
Yeah, looks like Dach for Samanski. I know people are going to like really roast Chris Knobloch for this one, and I saw a lot of like Samanski can't make mistakes, but Henrique's allowed to blah, blah, blah. I do not think there is a problem with a young player who, I mean, I'll look up the numbers on this, but like, has he not played more hockey this year than he would have?
Oh, I don't know. Probably. I think he's played like 53 games.
So he is up right now. He's played 20 games for the Oilers. That's
Yeah.
crazy to think about. He's played 65 games this season between Edmonton and Bakersfield.
more than
In
I
the
thought.
German league, 52, 51, 48. Like, he's played a lot of hockey this year, is kind of my point. He also went to the Olympics, right?
Yeah, that's true as well. I think the other side of it too is fine.
Yeah, like I don't
Like,
I don't have a problem giving a young guy like that. He had a rough game, and you say, hey, watch this one. You're back in on Thursday or Wednesday.
And I think too, like Henrique's the PK guy. He's Knobloch's
Yeah.
number 1 PK guy. Him and Savoie, first 2 forwards over the boards typically. It's not a surprise. I think it's a bit of a overreaction because it's likely that he'll just get back in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah. So your lineup tonight for the Oilers, Aaron, you just had it there if you want to flash it back up for me. Top line, Podkolzin, McDavid, Savoie. Second line, Nuge with Roslovic and Kapanen. Dach with Dickinson and Frederick. Rico with Jones and Lazar. D pairings are staying the same. Would you play, I mean, you'll see how tonight goes. Any case to put in a guy like Stastny tomorrow? Or do you think the points are too valuable right now?
I think it depends how tonight goes and
Fair.
everything else because Vegas and Anaheim both play tonight as well.
Yes.
So maybe a bit of I'm not really bothered about Stastny because I just think he's not going to play anyway. I think there's a lot more question marks in the forward group in terms of like there's a lot of guys who are playing well right now and there's good competition. Stastny, at the end of the day, Stastny has 1 point this season.
I like him, but yeah.
It still pisses me off that Blankenberg went for a 5th.
I know. You could just probably gotten Blankenberg for the same.
I'll just not pay so much for Stastny.
Yeah. I still like the player, though.
I think
And you have him
he's
under
got
team
some
control. If you
potential.
trade him at the draft, you'd probably get a 4th back for him.
Maybe. I think he's got something there. He's not a bad player by any means.
We're not going to do a full what's trending, but Maxim Beryozkin is reportedly going to sign his ELC with the Oilers. He spent the obviously last 5 years in Russia since the Oilers drafted him.
Yeah.
This is one that a year ago we were really excited about the guy. his production really, really petered off this season. Spencer Pomeroy, who does some prospect writing for us at Oilers Nation, he had this to say: would be a great addition to the team next year. Heavy play style, hard to handle along the wall with his size skill combo, underrated playmaking skills, finishing needs some work. Beryozkin has the potential to be a great complementary middle six winger. I see that, and I go, yeah, baby, Tony Slept 2.0. That's what's up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. See, the prospects guys all seem happy that he would be coming, I guess. And I mean, what a long-term project for the Oilers that they've had with him. They drafted him, obviously, at 18 as a fifth-round guy, and now just turned 24, I believe, and looks to be making his way to the NHL. And again, a nice little addition if they get this German fella, Vet Oswald, was that his name? Obviously, I have Owen Michaels. We'll see if they get TJ Hughes. Again, like, the Oilers aren't trying to find 18, 19-year-old prospects who will be good in a few years. They're trying to find guys like, hey, if push comes to shove, he can play for us today. And I think they're finding those guys. And obviously, Samanski, we're sat here. Could you imagine last season for him, like, hey, Josh Samanski's going to play games at the end of the season and be like a meaningful asset to this team? Like, people would just be happy with that. And today we're arguing if he should be in or out of the lineup. So yeah, it's a good thing.
I agree. It's a guy who's either going to factor in to their lineup next season, or he's a guy who maybe they dangle him in a trade this summer, right?
Samansky?
No.
Beryozkin. Yeah, maybe.
Right, and that's the other part with some of these guys. Like, we talked about Quinn Hudson maybe being a piece at the deadline. Like, if you sign 8 of them, 3 or 4 of them turn out, 2 of them are probably making your lineup. The other 2 you're probably trading, considering that's how the Oilers are going. All right. Oilers are dogs tonight from Mistaken Mexican. Giddy up. Hammer them. I'm actually
interesting. Well, they're missing guys.
Yeah, and Utah's won
healthy.
3 in a row.
Yeah, and they're the home team.
Yeah. But yeah, the Oilers on Bet365 are plus 115 on the money line. So interesting number there. One more thing to get to while we're talking about tonight's slate. Let's take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard, which is brought to you by Boston Pizza. For 32 dark years, Canadian hockey teams have come up short in the playoffs. So this year, BP is waking up the hockey gods. And tonight, we sit here and we look to the hockey gods and we ask them for a few things. A Nashville Predators win over the Anaheim Ducks. 8 o'clock puck drop there. A Vancouver Canucks win over the Vegas Golden Knights. 8 o'clock puck drop there. Obviously, 7:30 Oilers and Mammoth. That's a big one. And then I don't think we really care about Wild Kraken.
No.
Don't really care about anything else. The other big game, though, Columbus-Detroit is basically an elimination game tonight. That one taking place 5 o'clock tonight in Detroit. These two teams tied with 88 points. Both sit 2 points back of Ottawa and Philly for one of those final 2 playoff spots. Whichever one of those teams loses, honestly, even if it's in overtime, they're probably done.
Yeah, they probably are done. I would love to see Columbus make it.
3 straight losses is a dagger for them, though.
Yeah, it is. But I think Rick Bowness seems like a good man. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to see him have success. He's going to be very interesting if he comes back next season or not.
Yeah, I even think about, we joked about this on DFO Live a little bit. Can you imagine being Rick Bowness's wife? All those years he was out on the road coaching. Finally this year, after you spend a few seasons in Winnipeg, finally he goes, you know what, honey? I'm retiring. We're going to go live in Florida, and you're enjoying your life. You're going for nice lunches, all this stuff. Then randomly one day in January, he comes into the room. He says, I got a call today. They asked me to go coach. And she goes, that's great. Did L.A. fire their coach? Where are we going? He goes, no. We're going to go to Columbus. I got the itch.
You thought Winnipeg was bad.
Yeah. Giddy up. Spot. We're going to Columbus. And then, maybe he eventually convinces her that it's just for this half season to do his buddy Don Waddell a favor. One last go of being a head coach. And now he's sitting there being like, well, actually, we were pretty good. I think I might sign on.
Do they have a history together, Bowness and Waddell?
I just assume that since they're both old and have worked in hockey forever, they're friends. That's not an unfair assumption.
No, it's fair to assume that would be the case. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense to me, too. Mm-hmm. Columbus, very interesting. Obviously, I think Gaudreau, when he signed in Columbus, really sparked the conversation of like, oh, players actually like to go here. We'll see. Maybe if they have like a very favorable coach now, maybe they can attract more free agents and become.
I've heard some of their pending UFAs have said in contract negotiations, like, I want to know what we're doing coaching-wise next year.
Yeah, and that's fair. You don't want to be signed on with someone who you don't like at the end of the day.
if you want to parlay everything, it's the everything goes the Oilers' way parlay tonight, plus 1366. It's interesting.
I also got word from Jay Rosehill.
Oh yeah, what forgot from
He
Jay?
said, "quote Don't hold your breath." But I did ask if he needs to let me know beforehand if he's going to take the job, and I can take out a loan.
That would be big for us, the whole network. Have a man on the inside.
Wise Kyle yesterday said everyone on ONE went Yukon, but the Maize and Blue took it to him. They didn't cover the spread, which you told us was a great bet. I don't give a shit about college basketball, and I'm pretty sure that was my exact quote yesterday.
I also took UConn spread and hit that, so suck it, Wise Kyle.
What was like a game anyone watch?
I watched the second half. It was fine.
Is that meme of it's all right? It was fine,
I
but
love that
nothing
guy.
good.
The only thing that just pisses me off, like if you think ABS challenging or reviews in hockey are bad, it's like the end of the first half and they're reviewing a foul. And it's like, oh my God, college basketball, like again, when it's good, it's good. When it's a game like that where both coaches are, there was a point at the end where UConn like didn't have any challenges or timeouts left. And they submitted an appeal for a foul call. And the refs are like, we're going to review this. UConn submitted an appeal. And it's like, okay, so why even count how many challenges or timeouts you have if the coach can then also be like, actually, I'm going to now appeal this. It was honestly kind of garbage.
That guy, the UConn coach,
Danny Hurley, yeah.
Danny Hurley?
Danny Hurley.
Mr. Hurley. Wasn't he the guy who was supposed to go to the Lakers and it didn't go?
Correct.
And also, didn't he headbutt a ref the other day?
He rubbed his forehead against the referee's forehead. It was incredibly weird. He was on Pardon My Take right afterwards, and they just...
He was?
Yeah, he came
What
on
did he say?
He's a weird dude, and that he's slightly friends with the ref, and that's why the ref didn't, like, freak out, and he knew he could do it, but he was also, like, I kind of just blacked out in the moment.
Yeah, he should have probably been ejected.
That was incredibly weird, too.
Yeah. Oil Kings lost last night.
Overtime, Game 7.
Yeah, the David Lewandowski had the assist. His shot was tipped in from the point by Rowan Galver, I believe the kid's name was. Apologies if I got that wrong. That Saskatoon team took a big swing last trade deadline, trading Tanner Mollendijk and a couple other guys to bring and brought some guys in, and they were the second seed as well in what would have been the Eastern Conference, I guess. And ended up knocking off the Oil Kings last night, who also went all in. So I think some credit to that organization. Our friend Dan Tenser, of course, director of scouting. So, yeah, the WHL playoffs continue this Friday. The final 8, the Elite 8, they're calling it.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah. And I'm going to read off the last What's Trending thing because I need you to know about what's happening here.
Okay.
So, Aaron Ramsdale, you ever heard of him?
No.
So Aaron Ramsdale is a very famous Welsh soccer player. One of the greatest ones, they say. But he had this crazy thing that would happen was he retired today. That's why I'm bringing it up. It reminded me. Whenever he would score a goal for like a 6 to 8 year stretch, someone of significance would die.
Okay.
Like within hours or within like a day of this happening.
What's significance, though?
Okay, I will read off the names.
Okay.
Number 1, Osama bin Laden.
Might not be dead, but continue.
Fair enough. I will continue on. Steve Jobs.
Okay.
Muhammad Gaddafi.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember that death.
Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Paul Walker. Robin Williams.
It's been a long...
Sir Richard Attenborough. David Bowie. Alan Rickman.
And this was every time he scored a goal, the next day someone would die?
Literally like the next day or within like hours of it happening. It was crazy. Nancy Reagan. There was so many people.
Nancy Reagan?
And yeah, here you go. It's a little bit of the Ramsey curse. And it was nuts. Just like every time there was like anticipation for being like, what's going to happen? And yeah.
How many goals did he score in his career?
Not very many. Like not many that like when it was happening, it was like, oh shit. Like something's going down soon. So in his career, this started again. It was over like a certain stretch. He only scored 54 goals over his career. He played over 400 games.
Okay, so in 10 of them.
It says 20 to 30 notable deaths.
Yeah, that was just the top 10.
How does he react when he buries one?
They asked him once, and he's just like, I obviously don't believe in that stuff. And it's obviously just a coincidence, but crazy the list. So yeah,
Someone's
Aaron
if he
Ramsey.
dies, he dies. For
Also-
the score.
Sorry, I said Ramsey. They never got Aaron Ramsdale.
West Side Shane got my Nancy Reagan reference, so thank you to Shane.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said.
Just Nancy Reagan, man.
Oh, yeah, wild stuff. Just really unfortunate.
All right, wrap on today's show. Aaron, Menzies tonight?
Menzies, Boardsy, Burt, Tristan, Warback, Jarry in the crease. 9:16 post-seance, gentlemen. I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
Oh, he was asked if he's seen the video, and he said no, but now he's at least aware of it.
So Moglin Celebrini tweeted us or whatever, and he said that he went to the Card Expo, got his Jarry jersey,
Nice.
shout out, signed by Jarry, and then he asked him about, have you seen the video? He said no, but he highly recommended he goes and watches it. So at least he's now aware of it. And who knows? Make it 3 in a row. Jarhead, stand up.
I could not imagine myself going up to a professional athlete and being like, hey, remember how you sucked really bad for a while?
What do you have to lose?
I guess. And then being like,
sign first, then ask.
did you see the Oilers
what was
Nation
the order?
guys did a exorcism on the stick you gave to a little kid because they think you stink so much? It's like, God damn it.
Maybe Jarrett. Well, I think he owes us one, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
2-0, baby.
All right, new episode of O&R going to drop later on. Pre and post game coming your way tonight as well. Enjoy the hockey game tonight, everybody. We're back here tomorrow. Noon Mountain, oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.